This is my dream car, and I'm sure plenty of people watching, it's their dream car too. And it's an incredible car, but there are a few things that grind my gears that Toyota should have done from factory that they haven't. And let's face it, it's an $80,000 car. It should be better from the get-go. Let's talk about that. Now don't get me wrong, these things from factory are really good. They're twin locked, they got the big V8 donk in them, manual, they got everything you need to get you off the tracks. But, you know, they actually probably don't look that good. They definitely have missed leg day with the wheels. And let's face it, no bull bar and none of that, they kind of look a bit sad. Spend a little bit of money on them though, and all of a sudden these things, they look so good. The first thing we're going to talk about, the elephant in the room, is the track correction. Now from factory, these things at the back were 90mm narrower than the ones at the front. And the reason for that is in 2007, when Toyota brought out the V8 Cruiser, they had to make the front bigger to shoehorn the V8 engine in. So they widened the track at the front for that to fit. They didn't bother widening the back at the same time. So ever since then, for the last nearly 20 years, the track has been narrower at the back than the front. Now, you can fix it. You can get, there's a lot of people that make diffs, wider diffs for them that fix the track correction. D-Wiz is one of the ones that we've seen a lot of recently. Other ways to do it, and that's the proper way to do it. Other ways to do it, you can do what I've done and just put a neg 50 offset wheel on there and it brings it out to line the track up front to back. Probably not that legal. Some people do put spacers on, again, not that legal, but Toyota, seriously, adjust the track correction, fix it from factory, then we don't have to worry about all these other things. Now, we could do an entire episode just in here. Let's just rewind history. Before we did all this, this had one cup holder. It had no CarPlay. It had a CD player there. I think you could Bluetooth your phone to it for wireless phone calls, but even the microphone didn't work real well. If you got the GXL, you're lucky because you get automatic windows, but if you don't get the GXL, you're on the wind-up windows. It's just, the center console, it's low. You can't even rest your elbow on it. There's very little storage. The seats weren't too bad, to be fair, but they were just basic ute seats. I mean, look, let's not get away from ourselves here. This is a farm ute. So we've spent a bit of time in here. We've got extra cup holders in. We've put extra storage in. We've got a fridge in here for a better center console. We've put nicer seats in, wireless controls from the steering wheel, more storage up there. We've made it a normal modern car. It's not got all the bells and whistles. It doesn't have any traction, it has traction control, but doesn't have any crash sensors or the radar adaptive cruise control, none of that. Basic, which I don't mind, I kind of like that, but it has, we have had to spend a bit of money in here just to make it a normal car. Next, mirrors as I would say, mirrors. The factory ones are, well, you've seen the factory ones, two bits of metal come up and it just sits there. And if you're in the driver's seat by yourself, you can't adjust this one. You got to get out, move it, get back in. Oh, it's close, get back out, move it. Oh, it's close, get back in. It's a schmozzle to even adjust them. Then when you do adjust them, when you get up to a little, say you're driving down the highway, 100k an hour, if the bolts that are up the top and bottom aren't really tightened up, it starts to move and it'll just bend in because the wind hits it. So, like seriously, $80,000 and we can't even get adjustable mirrors. I've had to upgrade these ones. We bought these off, actually these were Andy's, he bought these off Marketplace, these MSA ones. They flick out, they do all this stuff, but there's an electric control for them, so at least I can adjust this one from the driver's seat easily. This is first world product, but seriously, on the newer cruisers, Toyota in their wisdom decided to put these auto hubs in, which means that if you're actually going off-road properly, every time you want to lock the hubs, because you shouldn't really use them in auto because it's not really that good, you've got to get, I think it's a 19mm spanner out or one of those wrenches, and you've got to physically turn it to lock, so you got to have a tool with you. On the old ones like Andy's car, the 2007 model, manual hub, you just twisted it around before you got on the tracks. When you finished, you twisted it back. This is not a step in the right direction. This is a step backwards really, because who wants to get a wrench out every time they want to go off road. So if you're going like we're on Stratty at the minute, let's say we're going into town, we get off the beach, we got to stop the tool out, put it back into auto, put it into two-wheel drive, then go, then we can come back again. Seriously, just put the old manual hubs in. They were perfect. Don't fix what's not broken. So let's go to the last thing I want to bring up, and that is what Toyota call a raised air intake. And most people think it's a snorkel. It's not, because when these come from factory, they're actually joined here. They're not waterproof or airtight really. So if you were to actually think this was a snorkel and you did a deep water crossing and the water came up past where the join was here, water's going to go into your airbox and into your engine, which is pretty crap. Like that's not good at all. And the big mushroomy thing that's on top, it doesn't look that efficient to me. Obviously a stainless steel snorkel might be good. I prefer the R-Max ones because I do like the ram head. I do believe it pushes the air in a bit better, but yeah, we upgraded to the R-Max because the factory raised air intake was no good as a snorkel, because any water crossings you're going to come unstuck. I guess what's really frustrating is none of these are hardcore mods. They all could have been done from factory. There's nothing really difficult about what we've just spoke about, and you know, it does make the car a lot nicer to drive and perform better and safer. So, you know, drop a comment below. What would you like to see Toyota have done from factory with these cars? Because let's face it, modifying a four-wheel drive is something that we all enjoy. I love this car. I absolutely love it. I will never sell it. It is the best car in the world, in my opinion. And it's something that I just love tweaking, changing, and doing stuff to every weekend just to make it my own, and just because it gives me fun, gives me pleasure, makes me fulfilled. Thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.